Hello everybody, it's Joel here from Cyanoid again, ready to give another tutorial. Remember, these are beginner tutorials. No one has really sent me any requests yet on Instagram, SoundCloud, or any of the social media you can reach us at. Today we're going to be talking about the filters here on Massive. I know this seems very elementary, I guess, for producers that are seasoned. So if you feel as if this is just a whole load of shit of your time because you're way past this, then please go on ahead and see other videos or whatnot. Right now, I'm just trying to focus on producers who are just getting into this. So please enjoy. Right now, if you want to set up your Massive to figure out, what these filters are and what they do and how um, they relate to producing, then make sure you have the first oscillator on Massive turned up, amplitude all the way up, all this all the way up. Send the signal to filter 1. We're going to be using filter 1 in this tutorial. And make sure that the volume of your filter is all the way up, that the mix is all the way up, so that it can eventually reach all the way out through the master of the Massive and out through the master of the DAW. Make sure that your amplitude envelope, if you don't really know how to use this, please see my first tutorial on it. Make sure that the sustain is all the way up, so when you play a note, it stays at full volume the whole time it's pressed. That way you can gather a better sense of how to use filters in this tutorial. So, choose low pass 4, and we're gonna filter the sound out. Play any note near middle C on your keyboard, or just play any note that doesn't have. I guess play a bass note if you like. It'll get filtered out. So what's the whole purpose of this low pass? Well, as the name suggests itself, it's only going to allow the low frequencies to pass. So if you have a really high note and you take out all the highs of that note and let only the lows pass, you're gonna notice that hardly any sound is coming out, and that's because if you're playing a higher note, it's gonna have less lower frequencies. I'm gonna use this 8-band EQ to help paint a better picture of what's going on. So let me just take out this filter. So pay attention to this filter right here. Right now it's playing exactly like around 1K. That's the root of this frequency. If we were to create a low pass, you would start to see that hardly any high frequencies are being played whatsoever, and just the small amount of low frequencies are allowed to pass. Another name for a low pass is a high cut filter. It makes sense because you're cutting the highs and you're only allowing the lows to pass. So if you ever see LP, that means low pass. Or if you ever see HC, it's high cut. So that's why it's given that name. And then if you notice, going back here on the Massive, it says low pass 4. What that suggests, because you're probably saying, what the hell, it's a low pass 4, low pass 2, and you can hardly tell the difference in either one, but there actually is a difference. And the difference is actually the way it attenuates the frequencies after the cutoff. Well, I know that probably sounds gibberish to some of you, but what that means is that right now I'm using band 8 on this filter, and 8 right here where you see it is my cutoff frequency. That means that from 1.16 kilohertz on, the frequencies are going to be attenuated or removed or reduced or whichever term you would like to use, but that means that they're going to be filtered out. And for this particular low pass filter here on Massive, low pass 2, this is a first order filter. What that means is that to better explain or to actually add some credibility to what the hell I'm talking about, it means that, as you see here, we're talking about continuous time low pass filters, meaning first order filter. In summary, every time the frequency doubles or goes up 1 octave, it's going to be attenuated by 6 dBs. Because right here it says first order filter, for example, reduces the signal amplitude by half. So power reduces by a factor of 4, or 6 dBs every time the frequency doubles, goes up 1 octave. So, in layman's terms, every time the frequency basically goes up 1 octave, or 12 here means 1 octave. Wow. 1 octave. So a low pass on 2, for every octave it goes up, it's going to be reduced by 6 dBs. For a low pass 4, every time the frequency doubles or goes up 1 octave, it's going to be reduced by 12 instead. And that's called a second order filter. So right here, it says decreases by 12 dBs per octave every time the frequency doubles. So every time the frequency doubles, it means it goes up by 1 octave, and it'll be reduced by 12 dBs as opposed to the first order filter. So as you can see, there is a difference. So the same will go for the high pass. The high pass is literally the opposite of the low pass, as the name suggests. I mean, pretty sure you guys get that. You can hardly hear anything because there we go. So yeah, this is a high pass. This is how it looks like. And that's exactly what this high pass is doing here. And the same goes for the high pass. There's a first order. This is the first order, second order. It's going. I may be wrong. It could be backwards, but one of them is a first order, and it's gonna cut the frequencies as they double by 6 dBs. The other one's gonna cut by 12. It's just gonna be a steeper high pass or low pass filter, depending on the frequency range you're trying to filter out. So the cutoff point, after the cutoff point, if it goes, the frequency the frequency could double its power going up or reduce its power twofold going down. And either direction it goes up, the steepness of that filter is gonna be what the name is suggesting, either first order or second order. So let's move on to the all pass. As the name suggests, really not much to talk about. It's literally letting all the frequencies pass. The resonance, I think, is the only thing really that's going to be working there, really. It's just going to allow you to cue the sound. If you really want to know what's going on there, it's literally this. And one of the bands within that filter is just allowing for you to use the resonance. The resonance is denoted here by the Q. Q and resonance go hand in hand. They're literally the same thing. Q is just a shorter way of talking about resonance. In fact, Q, if I'm not mistaken, is a variable used mathematically to represent resonance. In the end, this is all science. This is all sound engineering. This is, these interfaces are just helping you achieve a sound without having to worry about the science behind it. That's essentially what all these computer programs are doing. Moving right along, double notch, if I had to do a representation here, is literally doing this to your sound. However, the cue itself, I'm not sure exactly the cue itself, but I'm going to try my best to recreate the sound, what it's going to do. Wait, hold on, let me play a bass note. Let me play even lower. Now, let's see how this sounds here. Awfully familiar, right? Kind of sounds the same. Well, that's exactly what's happening. There's 2 notches there, and you're controlling one of the notches, and it's giving that effect onto your sound. Moving right along, a band pass. If I would have to recreate it for you guys here, it's gonna be. Oh wait, hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me reset this EQ right here. Band pass. Literally, as the name suggests itself, it's literally doing this. Wow. Yeah. So the bandwidth, literally here. Oh my bad, I still had the filter on. That's why it sounded weird. Only the frequencies within this band are passing. Any frequencies outside of this band right here are not being played. They're being filtered. So this is exactly what's going on when you create a band pass right here. Your cutoff here is the same on here. So here the cutoff is 3, and here the cutoff is 285 hertz. So between 285 and 3K, those are the frequencies that are going to be played within this filter. So the cutoff here, if I'd have to guess, you only have control of one of the cutoffs. So one of these, I'm pretty sure it's going to be this one, the higher one, and the width of the band itself is going to be controlled with this. So I'm pretty sure, I'm guessing that this is going to be controlling the second cutoff right here. So you'd have to play around with it until you get what you want. So it's hard to imagine it, but that's why they want you to use your ears. Just trust your ears. But if you just feel like you want some theory behind it to know exactly what you're doing when you're messing with a bandpass filter, this is exactly what's going on. A band reject is literally the opposite, and and it's literally it's used a lot in dubstep, like a lot, to make those crazy basses that everybody loves. A band reject is widely used, and it's literally a 1-notch filter. Instead of a double notch, is a 1-notch. And if I had to play, they're awesome. I love them. They give a lot of, if you had any phasing to your sound, it's great. So just food for thought. Dubstep loves to use band rejects, especially to make nasty basses. Any of these filters in actuality, but for some reason I'm very fond of the band reject. It's great. So moving right along, you got your scream. Okay, these filters now have like little built-in distortion knobs. They add character. This scream is literally a low pass. It's a low pass. You know that because if you have your cutoff and you move it to the left and you start only hearing low frequencies, then you know that it's a low pass. It's only letting the lows pass. Now, there's resonance. Oh, sorry about that. I guess I didn't kind of explain the resonance. Let us. I'm gonna show you right here. So I'm gonna recreate a low pass again, real quick, and this is your cutoff. Right now, the number 8 here, the highlighted circle, is my cutoff, and this is my resonance. So if I want the last frequencies, the frequencies that are going, reaching my cutoff. Right now, my cutoff. Let's place it at a nice number like 1K. As the frequencies approach, they're gonna be boosted right up until the cutoff frequency, and then right after the cutoff frequency, they're gonna be attenuated. For every octave, it's gonna be attenuated by, let's say it's a first order filter like we learned today, 6 dBs. So every octave after my cutoff frequency is gonna be attenuated by 6 dBs. If it's a second order, then 12 dBs. So it's gonna be cut off the higher frequencies even more after my cutoff. But if you want to add some resonance on it, that means that the frequencies near the cutoff are gonna be boosted, like I said. So it's gonna sound different. Kind of seems common sense because it's illustrated, but when you don't have this graph here, it's kind of hard to understand when you're just looking at, right, what's going on here. So the Scream, you can play with it. Start screaming at you if you had a lot of resonance. Yeah, sorry about that. So that's exactly what it does. It just adds some distortion. Resonance reacts differently with Scream if you have no Scream on it. So Daft, this by itself, this filter by itself adds character. It's just the way it's been programmed, it's been coded, that it's going to just add its natural color to it. It's going to characterize the sound, give it a different, I guess, a character. And if you like it, you use it. If not, just choose another one. The comb. Now, this is not really a filter at all. This is literally, it's actually it's kind of like similar to the frequency shifter here. It's similar but different. The damping, that just goes, and it's basically, this is how much. Damping is kind of like the intensity, if you want more of the pitch or less. Feedback is just gonna do exactly that. It's gonna just overlay the signal on top of itself, and it's just gonna amplify the intensity as well along with the feedback. And then the pitch you choose, higher the pitch, the lower the pitch, illustrated by the knob here. So there's really not much to it. You actually have to play with it to truly gather understanding of what's exactly going on. And then Acid is similar to Daft. It's just gonna add a character to the filter itself. As you notice, it's not available, this knob, so there's really no effect you can add there. The filter itself is just like Daft. It's basically a copy of Daft, except that Daft will add a different texture to the sound. Acid is gonna do its own thing to the sound. And then to summarize this entire tutorial on filters, this right here, a lot of people don't explain it, but I'm going to do that. If you route this oscillator to filter 1, filter 1, that means in this setting, in serial, this is serial, this is parallel. In serial, the sound, the signal is literally going to go into filter 1, and after it's been filtered and gone through here, it's literally going to go into filter 2. So it's going to literally travel into filter 1, come out of filter 1, and then go into filter 2. And then if this is up, assuming these two levels are up, and then after leaves filter 2, it's going to continue being into the processing. Now, what happens when you oh, and by the way, if you want them to leave both, if you want the sound to go through both filters in serial, and the only way the sound will come out is if you have this in mix 2 and this up. Both of them have to be up, so it'll travel in serial. It's very similar to, if you know anything in electronics, if you're putting resistors in serial, it's the same exact thing. I mean, this is all based on analog hardware, so that's exactly what's happening. If you put it in parallel, that means that the signal is literally gonna go through filter 1 and filter 2 simultaneously at the same time. So you can literally put this in the middle, and you can mix using this volume knob here, because the signal is gonna go through both at the same time, and then continue to be processed on whichever. If you want to know how this works, I mean, you can look at the routing. You can see it. If you have it in serial, it's literally going to go through filter 1, and then filter 2, and then go through here. As you notice, right now, these inserts, the insert 1 is going to be affecting filter 1 immediately right after it's being filtered from filter 1. So if you have it in serial, the signal is gonna pass to through filter 1, be processed by insert 1, and then go through filter 2, and then be summed up here at the amp. If you activate insert 2, then after it's gone through all this, it's going to be insert 2 is going to affect it all that. So if you want to learn more about when the effects are actually being affected, make sure to look at this routing. It's complex, I know, but it does explain what's going on if you really want to know what's going on. So thank you very much for listening in on how filters work, and having an in-depth tutorial on filters. I really want to teach you guys all that I know. If I'm by any means erroneous on anything that I've taught you guys, I'm sorry. I'm learning just like you guys. Maybe I'm a little bit more seasoned on this and I've read up on it, but don't be afraid. I mean, I'm just trying to explain myself as best as I can. I kind of did my research and brushed up on things that I've already learned. But yeah, this is a tutorial on filters for beginners. I hope that you leave with some more knowledge on it. So thank you very much. Remember to follow us on Instagram, or to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Thank you guys. That's that.